She's your queen to be.
How are you doing today, Pep?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. Yeah, I got no complaints. Just busy.
I could use a little bit more money, but
I mean, can't we all? Howsoever,
the thing is, I don't even want that much. Like nothing crazy, like 1.5 mil, and I'd be good.
She said not that.
That's not even that bad.
I don't think that's that bad because after they tax your shit.
Exactly.
So,
on top of that, like you got all these people like 800 mega million like dollars. I'm like, I don't even need that much. All I need is 1.5. Like, can a sister get 1.5?
Give me just honestly, I'm not hard to please. Give me 500 to a G. I'll find a way to flip it.
Okay.
I'll flip it. I don't even need a lot. Just give me a solid foundation and I'll take care of the rest. But what do I know? I'm just.
500 is nothing. You do know that.
I will still flip it.
I'm not saying you can't flip it, but that ain't much.
It's something.
Are you saying 500,000?
No, give me 500 to 1,000.
You wildin'. Bitch, stop.
I said I got low. I remember
500. I'm sitting here thinking that you're talking about 500,000. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not that much. I could do 500,000. Like, are you crazy?
I'm not trying to get rich. I'm trying to invest and flip money and then get rich off of that. I want
Flip
residual.
$500.
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you think you are?
I can. What? Bitcoin that bitch?
You need more money than that to get Bitcoin.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure Bitcoin is like, isn't that like, aren't
Right.
they under like some investigation?
I didn't know
I
that.
might have made that up. It just sounds like some shit that would be under investigation.
I'm so done with you.
Just saying.
Anywho. So.
You in the mood for some pepper soup today?
I am in the mood for some pepper soup today.
Okay. So what are we serving the good people today?
So I already acknowledged, we acknowledged on the last episode, it's Women's History Month. We're going to continue to acknowledge it.
Yep.
I told y'all in my pep talk last episode how amazing women are. And so with that said, I want to acknowledge the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Mm-hmm. You know, those areas of self-doubt where it's like, I'm 23 and I should be married, or
23.
Look, girls be saying some wild stuff like that. Or I'm 30 and I don't have a baby yet, or it's too late for me to go to school because I had my kid as a teenager, and now no, we put all these limitations on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And not because we're just doing it to beat ourselves up, but there's societal expectation, there's cultural expectations, there's familial expectations. So with that being said, there's a lot of undue pressure and stress. And that's what I want to talk about, because all that shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
Straight up bullshit.
It is, but I'm not going to front and say that I've never felt those things, those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, especially like 25, I always said, like, I had a quarter life crisis.
Let me tell you something. Speaking of quarter life crisis, I literally had a quarter life crisis since, let me see.
Mine came early.
I want to say I've been having quarter life crises since 19. From 19.
I was like 23.
From 19 to 25, I had those crises. Every single year on my birthday, right before, or if not the day of, I would bawl. Because I'm like, yo, it's another year. I'm a year older. What the fuck have I done with myself?
Yeah.
But it's crazy because by the time that I was 25, I had a master's. I had been in my own apartment for years. I've been on my own since I was 14. But yet it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And I've learned since that time that those are just all unrealistic expectations that I was putting on myself.
But you see, the difference is I actually wasn't doing shit. I was not doing shit at 25.
But I push back against that because you know that I know you, and if you weren't doing shit, we wouldn't have been friends. So with that being said,
I wasn't out. See, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wasn't out here with a whole master's or living on my own.
But you know why? That wasn't because you didn't want those things or you didn't do what you needed to achieve those things. Those were due to circumstances that were outside of your control.
Yes, but at the same time, like,
the feeling is still there.
yeah, the feeling is what I'm saying.
And
like,
I'm not negating the feeling,
Yeah.
but look at that.
it definitely is bullshit.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you,
right.
especially being African, being first generation kid, and your parents putting this unrealistic
Pressure.
expectation and pressure on you, and then on top of that, you don't even have the right to feel any type of anxiety or depression because they don't
recognize
acknowledge
it.
mental health.
Yep.
So yeah, like I felt like, just what am I doing? The relationship I was just in had just ended after like an extended amount of time. So in my mind, I'm like, I've already met my husband. I've already met the father of my children. Just for it to not work out.
Right.
And to have to start
Right.
over was shattering. Like,
Do you think it impacted your mental health in any way?
yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think I deal with more anxiety than actual depression. Not to say that I haven't gone through like stouts of depression, but it's, what's that saying? Like, depression is basically thinking about
Depression is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future,
future.
and peace is being in the present.
right. My issue is what is it?
What?
Past, present. Oh,
Past,
present.
Yep.
Or future.
Future.
Thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So that's why I have anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
I am literally constantly always thinking like, I gotta do this, and if this doesn't get accomplished, then what? And like that, yeah. So I had a lot of anxiety at that time, thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I going to do? I have all this student loan debt. I don't have a decent job, like that I feel like is sustaining me or like my lifestyle or how I want to live. And yeah, I did have a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
And I think that's interesting because as human beings, as human beings in this society, unfortunately, we're taught like, go to school, graduate, get a good job, everything will be copacetic. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Sally Mae owns my first child, and I have no children yet. So, yeah, that was a societal pressure
Yep.
and family pressure.
Yep.
Had it been up to me, I would have done a 2-year course at a community college, had no debt. You have to go to school for 4 years.
What is community college? What do people say about you?
Exactly.
Are you not smart?
And now look, are you going to pay my fucking debt?
Oh,
No.
but let's be clear. They won't do none of that. When I graduated with my master's, why did my mother disrobe me? My graduation pictures, she's wearing my cap and gown and holding my diploma.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, somebody just sent me the picture the other day.
Yeah,
I'll have to post it with this episode because
yeah, that sounds about right.
and I understand why they push us so hard because they've gone through so much. And my mother always used to say, if I had somebody to push me the way I push you, I wouldn't be cleaning shit for a living. I acknowledge that they want better for us.
Yeah.
But at what cost and under what circumstance?
Yeah.
Because, and I say especially under what circumstance, because you know that they're always worried about perception.
Perception.
What is this person going to say? What is this going to look like? Blah, 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 blah. And then I also bring out at what cost, because I know for me personally, and I think I've said this on the show before, I've been dealing with depression for a very long time before I was ever actually diagnosed with depression.
Yeah. Like
What,
most
2
people.
years ago? Yeah.
Most people.
And that's why I think it's really important to talk about this, because especially we have the superwoman schema, which is the pressure that women feel to not show vulnerability, to always exude strength, to constantly put the needs of others before their own. And that is specifically, the superwoman schema is specifically talking about that for Black women.
Amen.
And we need to do better at making ourselves a priority.
Yeah.
And this might sound repetitive, but like I can't say it enough. And I think we, especially not being able to feel like we can't speak, like we're scared to be vulnerable, this pressure to always have to be
Perfect.
on.
Yeah.
Or what I hate the most, and I think I hate it because I realized last year that I did it. I've done it for my entire life, and there's no way that I'm going to continue to do it, is that mindset to push through. I'm tired. I ain't pushing shit.
Yep.
It needs to slide out of my way.
But that's
I don't know.
also one of the pressures that society puts on
Yep.
us to always I don't know how many times we have to tell y'all niggas, if you see us on the street and you don't know us, do not tell us to smile.
Yo.
I can't. For what? First of all, you look like a fucking lunatic if you're walking down the street smiling to yourself. Who does that in their right mind? Who would do that? So don't tell me to smile. I could be going through the worst, shittiest day of my life, and hearing you, an entitled man who has a penis, who has never felt anything of what it's like to be a woman, the shit that we go through, don't fucking tell me to smile. Don't do it. Because you're going to get all sorts of cussed out. I'll probably start to fake cry just to make you feel like an asshole.
And you know what? It's funny that you say that. Because for me, for the longest time, to avoid those situations, I crossed the street. I was always terrified.
Oh, you gonna see this mug? Nope.
Yeah, and I was always terrified to walk past men, to go through them if they're standing up. I'll cross the street.
I mean, men are scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Howsoever, that was that pressure that I was putting on myself because of, the world that I was in. But once I realized, once I actually called bullshit, that was empowering. Yo, I love walking through the hood and be like, yo, excuse me. Or just anywhere, excuse me. And now it's to the point where, when I'm walking down the street, I don't have to say nothing. People move. And I think it's because I've embodied that these comparison traps.
Yeah.
This, I should be here. I have learned the hard way. We control nothing.
Yeah, and you really can't compare your life to what other people have.
Nothing.
You have no idea what, social media is a
Fraud.
scheme. It's a fraud. Honestly, besides car insurance and college, it's the biggest scam there is. Social media is a fucking fraud.
Yep.
I don't know how many people, my friends, have seen this quote unquote perfect relationship, but your nigga's embarrassing you in other people's DMs.
Yo, those be the worst ones.
They be the worst. And honestly, as a woman, because I actually really love women so much, it pains me to see other women blaming women for their nigga embarrassing them.
Yo, let's talk about that.
You should thank me, honestly.
Right. So let's talk about that, because in those situations, coulda, woulda, shoulda is a perfect scenario because
they don't want to let him go. Because they don't want to let him go because they don't want to start over or feel like, oh my God, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I can't start over. I'm
Yep.
29. I can't, I'm just going to let him embarrass me.
Girl, and
Listen.
I'm pointing to you. She's got me silent, but she's preaching, and you guys can see my
cheat in
nonverbal
peace.
movement.
You ain't going nowhere, sis.
Let that man cheat in peace.
You only you teach people how to treat you. So this whole shoulda, coulda, woulda, I'm never going to find anybody else, that mentality needs to stop. I know it's not going to, unfortunately, because of the societal pressures that, we've gone through all these decades, eons, since the beginning of time, basically.
Yes, there's a lot of unlearning to do.
There is. And
unlearning can be very hard. It can be very depressing because unlearning requires you to strip yourself of everything that you know, which means, and I want people to think about that, because then I want you to ask yourself, what are you attaching your identity to? If your job
someone
was
else or a
exactly,
job
and that's why this is so important. This coulda, woulda, shoulda, because people attach their job, their kids, their whatever to their value of what makes them a human being.
Marriage
and,
for women.
and that is not true. If you take away everything, if you take away this podcast from me, if you take away all of my degrees, if you take away my social work license, guess what? I'm still me. I'm still very intelligent. I am still articulate. I am still sassy. I am still empathetic. I'm still loving. I'm still a daughter. I'm all those. That is what makes me who I am. Everything else is secondary.
Yep.
And I said it in our period episode. We are a divine creation. I embody that. And with that being said, we all need to do it because that's how we're going to be able to change. That's how we're able to push back. And I feel like that's slowly but surely happening, especially with Black millennial women. I think we're doing a much better job of acknowledging each other, taking care of each other, supporting each other, lifting each other out, lifting each other up.
I think so too.
And it's dope because I feel like when I was younger, it's like, middle school, high school, it's like, I'm not, or even early college, I'm not friends with too many girls. Or
listen to me. This has never been me. I was never that girl, and I'll never trust that girl. I'll never trust the girl.
Talk about it.
That says she hates women or that she doesn't trust females.
Yes.
Like, have you noticed that the word female always has this negative tone to it, which is why all of a sudden we don't want to be called females, because it's like you could just be talking about any type of animal, like
because it reduces when you call somebody a male or a female, that is literally just a description for a species. We are a human being. So with that being said, we are a female species. We are a male species. It reduces you. You're not going to reduce me to my genitalia. It's not happening.
Yeah. So when I hear that come out of girls' mouths, like, I get it, because I have girlfriends that have been burned by girls, by women, and I get it. So you have this bad taste in your mouth of like, I don't fuck with females, da, da, da. But in my opinion, I kind of look at the girl that's saying she doesn't fuck with quote unquote females because, like, so you don't fuck with yourself? Like,
exactly.
I don't get it.
But
and maybe I've just been lucky.
No.
I the women that I surround myself with.
That's what I'm getting at.
I've been down
friends,
with for a decade plus. There's no one in my actual inner circle of women that I've known for under 10 years. And people find that amazing. Like, especially girls. Like, I've never had that many girlfriends, or like, and I'm just like, that's wild to me. That's crazy to me that you quote unquote don't. So you only fuck with niggas? Like, you only fuck with men? And on the flip side of that, there's a lot of men that feel like there's no way that you can be platonic friends with the opposite sex. So are you telling me that all these men that you kick it with, none of them want to smash you? None of them have looked at you in any type of like predatorial manner, like any type of way? So you only fuck with men. How is that possible? Like, I just don't trust women like that. I don't trust women that say they hate women, because that's crazy to me.
So they say, there's a saying that you're a reflection of the 5 closest people around you. And I think that speaks volumes, because look at what you just said. Your women in your inner circle, they've been your friends for 10 years or more, but look at those women.
Yeah.
They are a reflection of you, and you are a reflection of them. So for the women that are like, oh, I only chill with guys, or I don't mess with those girls, or this, that, and the third, they're speaking from a place of self-doubt, self-hate, because it has nothing to do with those girls or whoever, because you have to look at it. If you're going through multiple relationships, friendships that are not working, and you are the only common denominator, you gotta do some introspection. You have to look yourself in the mirror. And you've got to be like, damn, what is it? And I've lost friendships. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And we all have.
We all have.
But in those friendships, it's not like, woe is me, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. If you really think about it, we're all implicit in some way. Mm-hmm. But I also, on the other hand, it's also important to acknowledge that it's okay to grow apart.
Yeah.
And especially I feel like that also comes with shoulda, woulda, coulda, because, you have your high school friends, you have your middle school friends, you have your college friends, but those are all different phases in your life. And it's also okay to say that, you know what? Me and this person have simply grown apart. There's no love lost. There's no beef. There's nothing but respect and love, but you're not obligated to talk every day. You're not obligated to hang out. Like, it's just not that deep. We're adults.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but it's so true. Like this, I don't know, like with women and this world, like we have to look at things like and know that we can push back against them. Just because something is on the TV or it's on the radio or if it's Instagram or whatever, it doesn't make it law. It doesn't make it truth.
No.
It doesn't make it fact.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy into that. And I think it's really important that we also look at what we are consuming and who we're following.
Yeah,
like,
because literally every girl now on Instagram looks the same. Like every time the Shade Room posts like, oh, this rapper's new girlfriend, I'm like, this girl looks just like that rapper's girlfriend. Like everybody looks the same. And it's to the point where if you see a natural body, everybody's jumping on the women's like, where her ass at? Like, where her this at? But then y'all are mad about the cookie cutters that all look like ants now. Like, I don't get it. What do you want? Do you want the ant booty or do you want the natural booty? Like, I remember when Karrueche posted a picture of herself in a bathing suit and like all of these men and women especially were like clowning her. Like, oh, she's built like a boy, where her ass at, da-da-da-da-da. But, like, if she loves herself, what is the problem?
Exactly.
And then if she were to change herself, y'all would say some shit.
Absolutely. But that's exactly why that uncertainty, you can't allow people to project their insecurities onto you.
Because that ain't none of your business.
And highlighting the fact that women are magic, our bodies are always changing.
Exactly.
If I eat a piece of cheese, I'm going to look like I have 20 pounds on me because I'm bloated. I'm gonna look fucking crazy, but what are you gonna do? Break up with me and then when I'm not bloated, you're gonna come back?
Yeah, no.
It's just, we're magic.
Yeah.
We're magic. We get bloated, we retain water, like, get over it. And guess what? Like, it's our body. Men, women, like, don't police each other's bodies.
No.
Don't do it.
No. Because I can't tell you how to wash your balls.
Okay.
So don't talk to me about my period. Don't talk to me about, like, why I'm acting like this. Don't talk to me about anything that has to do with being a woman. Because you'll never know what it's like to be a woman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And vice versa.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's sad because as Black women, like, we're always, and I think this is a part of the shoulda, coulda, woulda too, I think we always have to second guess ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to, and not second guess ourselves because we don't believe in ourselves, but we have to second guess our movements so that we can be safe. Mm-hmm. And it's a burden.
Yeah. Being a woman is a burden. All of it. All of it. When it comes to the physical aspect, it's a burden. The upkeep is a fucking burden. The fact that you can't even walk down the street without holding your keys in between your fingers is a burden because you don't know who's going to come up on you and touch you when you don't want to be touched. Like, it's a burden. All of it.
Can I read something?
Sure.
So I've been reading this book, Eloquent Rage. It's so good, so I'm glad that I'm reading it slowly, but it's also so good that I just, like, want to stay up all night and read it. And the author is Brittany Cooper. The name of the book is called Eloquent Rage. Her name on Twitter, the author's name on Twitter is Professor Crunk. And she stated in her book, in the very first few chapters, she stated, loving Black girls is complicated, but loving oneself in a world where there is always someone ready to harm you is even harder. Mm-hmm. And that is stressful. Yeah. I know that is a major part of my ongoing depression. I think it also impacts my anxiety going into certain spaces, which is why I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to stay home. I'm not going to go out. Like, it's stressful.
It is.
But that's exactly why, because we have all these other external factors, like circumstances that we don't have a choice in. We have to go through them.
Yeah.
We don't need to be beating ourselves up on top of that.
We don't, but it's like from so many different angles.
Right.
From society,
right.
From social media, from your family. Like, it's a lot for one person to deal with.
Right.
Or a woman.
And so with that being said, I think it's very important to identify, because let's be clear, these things are normal. Everything that we're discussing is normal. We're telling you guys our circumstances because these aren't things that are too often talked about. And so we want y'all to know that we see you and we see each other. And so it's important that we have these conversations. And so I just want to talk about real quick before we transition into what are some things that you do for self-care. So when you have these negative feelings of imposter syndrome or the comparison trap, you know, what do you do to take yourself out of it?
I don't know. I think I just, like you said, go through it until I'm no longer feeling that way.
So you don't even speak about it, or?
Not really. And honestly, I don't even know if it really ever goes away or if it's always this dull lull of like, damn, like I thought I'd be further along, or like I don't really see myself getting married anytime soon. Does that mean I'm not going to have kids? Like, is that going to be my life of not ever having kids and just being like the cool ass aunt?
Right.
I don't know. These are things, it's like I deal with anxiety.
Right.
So
and that is anxiety.
Yeah.
Those are all anxiety provoked thoughts.
So I don't know. I'm not really sure what I do. I think it's kind of like that comes along with being a woman is that you just kind of like, you just push yourself through. Like, unfortunately, I don't think I have like an actual like remedy for these anxieties of every day, because it, like I said, it comes from every single angle of my life.
And it's interesting that you say that, because it wasn't until I think I started I started therapy in 2017. So it wasn't until I started therapy, because I had hit my breaking point, like, yo, I'm not. And I was 26. I was like, I'm not going to survive like this.
Yeah.
Like, my mom had sat me down and was like, yo, if you keep reacting to things the way you do, you are going to have a heart attack. And it was just wild. And I remember I went to therapy, and in therapy, they do your intake and they talk about your trauma history, and you tell them what you've been through and this, that, and the third. And she was like, yo, none of that is normal. And I think as Black women, there's so many things that we have dealt with
That we think are normal.
Yeah. That they're not normal. And that was literally my first therapy session. And when I realized like the shit that I had been doing, like it wasn't normal and that I wasn't obligated to do it, though I felt obligated to do it, it changed my whole mindset.
Yeah.
Because like once you take away that sense of obligation, like I started feeling empowered. I was telling my mother no. Come down. No, I'm tired. Like, and even like questioning, like, yo, do you not know that I work this much? I go to school full time. Like, do you hear yourself? Like pushing the ownership back on people when they ask me for things, and challenging them to be introspective and not be selfish has been really, really helpful for me. But it's also, I still deal with self-doubt, because then it's like, I struggle to be like, yo, I'm advocating for myself, but sometimes that makes people mad.
Yeah.
And then it's like, ooh, I don't want to stir the pot.
I mean, as women, we always think we don't want to stir the pot.
Because we're always, demonized as dramatic and emotional and so on and so forth. And fuck all of that, because one thing I'm also learning is like, I'm right now in 2019, literally my word for the year was fluid, and I vowed to be unapologetic.
Word.
And everybody's catching it. Mm-hmm. And in a way where not I'm going to give you a lecture, but if I don't feel heard, if I don't feel seen, we have nothing to talk about. I'll just stop talking.
Yo, you actually the mouthful that you just said actually segues perfectly into excuse me, Miz Fufu.
I'm like, excuse me, Miz Fufu. Excuse me, Miz Fufu. Excuse me, Miz Fufu.
Letter today was from a really good friend of mine who I went to college with. Not really college, but like ran within like the same kind of circles. And so when I saw that she wrote in, I was like, we always have like these conversations. Actually, she was a work friend, but we have a lot of the same mutual college friends.
And shout out to you for always being super supportive.
Yes. So she is super supportive. She's also African. So when I saw that she wrote in, I was like, dope. This is definitely a conversation that her and I have had several times. Everything you said definitely touches on what she said. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and read it for us, Peppy.
I got you, boo. So our dear listener writes, hey ladies, just wanted to let y'all know I really enjoy your show and how relatable it is. I'm first generation as well. My parents are Liberian. L-I-B-A, my people. Don't be a hater. And there's a lot of struggles we go through. One struggle I'm facing right now, my mom is forcing it in my new relationship. When I was single, my mother would always be on my case about when I'm getting married, when I'm having kids, and when she was my age, she had a family. I'm 30, by the way. My older brother has children. Thought this would get her off my back, but it hasn't. Now I'm in my new relationship. She keeps calling my boyfriend of 2 months her son. Do you guys experience this pressure from your parents? If so, what do you guys say to take the pressure off? Girl.
Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Sing it. I used to go through this a lot with my parents. Like, and now not really so much my parents, because like I think we had like a traumatic time in life where I just felt too much pressure from them, and they've significantly backed off, especially my father.
A boundary will save you always.
Yes, boundaries. So I don't really get it from them as much, but you know, my mom will sneak in there like, oh, God's so good. Next year we are coming to your wedding. You need to calm down, Mary.
But manifestation is also real.
But like to just be like, oh, next year, literally, I'll go through the same thing. I had a boyfriend of like, 2 minutes. Oh, next year is going to be your wedding. Yes. And I'm like, calm down. Do you even know his last name? Like,
niggas is just looking for a party, yo.
They are. And so now, like, I don't know. There's always like that joke that people are like, oh, every time you go to a wedding, like, you know, someone nudges you and like, oh, you're next. And then like, you know, you turn around and be like, oh, next time I see them at a funeral, like, oh, you're next because you're old. Like, stop that. Stop that pressure. Like I don't know how to do it with, and it's funny because I have like cousins that have had babies, but they're not married. So, you know, they think that, you know, Africans think there's like the stigma or whatever, but like if God forbid it be your child. So of course my mom's always like, oh no, you're going to get married and now have your, like, come on, Mary. Just simmer down. So
I know you're bothered because you are literally calling your mother's name out, and we've been calling her Mrs. Fufu.
Yes,
and you just put her whole out there.
Yeah, it's
You're
triggering
triggering
for me. I am triggered. She's a lot better now, but like I think in regards to like our writers, parents who are Liberian, her mom especially, just let her rock out until she gets tired of it, I guess. But they don't really get tired. That's the thing.
They don't.
But she said it's a new relationship.
Right.
So maybe it's like the excitement of the fact that, like, I don't know, she didn't write if she had been single for some time, but like I had a big gap in time of like being single. So my parents were like looking at me sideways like, is this ever going to happen for you? Like, do you ever like anybody?
Right.
And
she doesn't, but
I don't. I really don't.
But I think her mom might be excited because I went on her IG page and I saw the boyfriend.
Stalker.
I do my research. Y'all know. And he's cute. So I can see why your mom.
He is cute.
He's mad cute. So I can see why your mom would be excited.
Yeah.
Howsoever, I think it's very important that you just draw a boundary with her, especially. And I'm saying this because my mother is also Liberian.
It's not that easy.
And it's not easy. But my mother, one thing, like we know our parents, right?
Yeah.
We know what makes them tick. So my mother, she doesn't like confrontation. Like she doesn't.
Oh, my mother loves it.
She doesn't. Unless she's the one that's facilitating it, she doesn't like you to come for her. She'll come for you. You get what I'm saying? So they don't know how to deal with that pressure. So that's her weak spot. I'm quick to be like, this is not happening. We are not having this conversation. And I've said it so much to my mother that like when she says things to me, and then like she'll catch my tonation is changing, she'll be like, we're not having this conversation. And I'm like, you got it, mommy.
Wow.
But I've had to train her.
No, that would never work with my mother.
I've had to train her.
If I speak an octave higher than what my normal tone is, why are you screaming at me? And I'm like, I'm not yelling, Mom. I'm really not even yelling. Like, can you calm down? That would never work with me. So I don't know what type of mom, her African mom her is because there's like different types.
There is.
There's moms that will take boundaries.
Right.
Very reluctantly.
Right.
And then there's moms like mine that
it's like, fuck your boundaries.
Like, what does boundary mean?
What do you mean?
Spell boundary. Is what they would say.
So it's funny though. I think another alternative to explore, and I did this. I kept my shit a secret.
What, your boyfriend? See, I can't.
I kept it a secret.
I can keep it a secret for so long.
I kept my partner a secret from my mother.
But you don't live with your mom. That's why. And it's very hard. Like,
I don't know if this listener lives with her mom.
I don't either.
Yeah, give us that update and let us know. I think that you're absolutely right. That's a good comparison because, yeah, I've been on my own, so I'm able to keep it a secret.
You're able to. So,
yeah.
So it sounds like maybe they are in very close quarters or very, very close because.
And that's why. Oh, and she sees him. They must live together because she's like, every time she sees him, she's like, oh, my son. And let's be clear. Yeah. In most African households, you stay home until you're married. Yeah, until you're married. I understand why her mom is like that. So I would come at your mom and be like, yo, ma, do you want me to move out? Is that why you're pushing me to get married? Put that shit back on her.
Again, that's not gonna work for you. Hey, you're trying to get this person killed.
She's grown. You are a grown ass woman. You said it. You're 30. They need to respect us. They need to learn. Oh, okay. Because guess what? When they're old, we're the ones cleaning their asses.
Oh, okay.
You gonna learn today.
You gonna tell this to Mrs. Fufu?
Yo, I got you. I'm coming to Framingham.
All right.
I'll go and tell her.
All right.
You know I will.
She'll beat you, and you know she will.
And I'll take the beating, but at least I said what I said. Anyways, I said what I said.
Yeah, look, I can't. That's not gonna work I don't think that's gonna work for her.
Well, now she has options.
All right, don't take Pep's option.
She has options.
Don't take Pep's option.
I say, yo, shut that shit down. She doesn't like it. Like, what else is she supposed to do? What is the alternative? Like, realistically,
I don't accept it.
Until
you
actually
girl. Move out.
Nah, girl.
Until you actually move out, like, what other option do you have? If you're under that parent's roof, you really don't have any say.
There's the option to break up with him.
No, for what?
Exactly. So why not shut it down?
Like, I wouldn't be able to keep it a secret either, just because, like, I'm very, very close with my parents. So if they notice any type of change up in my movement, like, I didn't come home for, like, the weekend, like, okay, so I'm probably getting kicked down somewhere. Like, that's awkward. That's awkward.
It's hella awkward, but I feel like, you know what? That's another way. Like, create an awkward situation. Oh, I didn't come home? Well, guess what? Y'all don't give me my space. Y'all don't give me my privacy.
No, not even that. I'm just saying, like, you were saying, like, oh, I hid my partner, or I wouldn't have, and maybe she doesn't have that option.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't have that option I can for so long.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And I clearly am just reckless because I'm like, yo, I would just create an awkward situation. Like, I'm disappear for 2 days. No, I'm not home. This and that. Where were you? Because my mother always said this saying, and it's a Liberian saying, when it gets rotten, we'll all smell it. So it's like
Africans in their fucking metaphors.
So it's to say, like, if the relationship isn't going well or anything like that, she'll know.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, tell your mom to hold that and let her know, like, yo, you will know. You will be the first. I think that's another thing. Maybe her mom just doesn't feel included. And it's just like, oh, we're going out today, or this, that, and the third. Because I know with my partner, like, I tell my mom, like, oh, we're going out, or this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah.
I tell my mom.
And I think one of the main reasons why I kept my mom out of my shit for so long was because this is my first relationship. Mm-hmm. 2, I was raised that if you have a boyfriend, if you're bringing somebody home as your boyfriend, and I don't even utilize that term because of this, that's the person you're marrying. And that's why I kept that shit to myself.
With Ghanaians, it's like, if you go to Ghana with your significant other,
you make the pilgrimage.
You are getting married directly after that. That's why a lot of, like, my homies that are Ghanaian have not brought their girlfriends to Ghana.
Facts.
And, like, their girlfriends that aren't Ghanaian don't understand, like, why haven't you brought me, like, to see your like,
it's not that easy, yo.
No, shorty, because if you come, that means I have to put a ring on it right after.
Yo, tell all your niggas to play this for their girls who are going through that.
Yeah.
He's not lying, sis.
He's not lying.
He's not lying. It's not that he doesn't want to take you. But you do need to ask him if he has a wife and kids out there. Mm-hmm. Because if he's going back and forth too much, that's a red flag.
Yep.
So, yeah. Thank you for writing in.
Thanks, boo.
Definitely update us on the living situation and let us know what you decide. Because that will be...
Don't go with Pep.
That will be a good...
Take my advice.
That will be
this is,
a good
excuse
episode.
me, Miz Fufu. Take my advice and let that shit roll off your back until you're ready to move the fuck out. because there's nothing.
But what if she scares the boyfriend away? What if he's like, yo, this is too much?
Yeah.
She has to nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
her
but
mom
then-
can't run him away. That's not okay.
But then you got to figure out a way to kind of put a barrier or boundaries between your relationship and your mom. Sorry to say, until it's time for you to like move out, then and you don't want to scare him off or make him feel like then there's got to be a boundary. You have to be the protector of your relationship when it comes to your if those are the type of parents you have. And you're not marrying your parents.
Right, which is why I'm like, keep it a secret or just check her and put up the boundary. Because, but also I want to point out one thing that's very important. If he couldn't, like, let's say he couldn't take it, it was like too much for him, that was a nigga you weren't supposed to be with anyways.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
if you are going into an African family, our families are overbearing.
Very.
Period.
Very.
Period. Like, and as a significant other, you just have to take it.
You do.
Because you're not like, my partner is not going to check my mother.
Hell no.
You get what I'm saying?
If you can't take the heat, get the fuck
fuck
out
out
the
the
kitchen. That's it.
So, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
Good
yeah.
luck.
Keep us updated. Thank you
Yeah.
for writing in.
Phew.
My pep talk turn into a pep rally.
In regards to our pepper soup topic, I just want to remind y'all to, live with purpose. Don't push your intuition down. I think we all get these gut feelings, but because we're trying to fit ourselves into these boxes, we ignore them. And I think we can all admit that shit has bit us in the ass.
Yep.
That when you end up in a situation, you're like, damn, this is what I originally thought, and I second guessed myself, and I should have just went with it. Go with your gut. It won't steer you wrong the majority of the time.
And even if it does, that was a lesson you had to learn.
Exactly. Look for the lesson. L does not mean loss. It means lesson. Just look for the lesson. And there's a lesson in everything. And I think we also have to, more importantly, we need to be grateful. It's very important to show gratitude even if you are not where it is that you want to be, because guess what? You are farther along than someone else. And somebody else wants to be in the spot that you are in. And reflect on, imagine if you weren't in the spot that you were in right now. If somebody just took that away from you and left you with nothing, you'd be worse off than you are. Most likely.
Facts.
So be grateful. Be grateful. Show gratitude to the world. Show gratitude for the hard circumstances as well, because like Fu said, there's a lesson that's gonna come out of that, and it can't do anything but benefit you later on in life.
Everything happens for a reason.
Amen.
I definitely believe
Oh,
that.
I'm so proud of you. Looking like
It took me a while.
It sure
It
did.
took me a while because anxiety. I'm always trying to control shit that I can't control. But literally everything does happen for a reason.
It does. And if you just don't dwell on the things that you can't control, let them go, and let God, if you are a believer, or, whatever you believe in, whether it's the universe, whoever, just let it go. Because I think we fail to realize that when we end up in certain circumstances, like if I wake up and I'm getting ready for work and I come out and somebody has hit my car, I didn't do anything wrong. I parked my car in front of my house. I'm not going to sit there and dwell in that. Is that shit going to piss me the fuck off?
Yep.
Abso-fucking-lutely. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, woe is me, like my car, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about
There's
it.
nothing you can do about that. So when you are sitting here having the weight of the world be your problem, ask yourself, why is it your problem? Why? Did you make it your problem? Because if you did, you can as easily let it go. So that's it for us here on Pep Talks and Fufu. Thank you all for joining us and listening with us.
Thanks, guys.
As always, we appreciate everything that you do, the interactions, the shout outs, keep it coming, the subscriptions. We are on Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud,
iTunes.
Apple Podcasts. Yep. So we're accessible. I think we've covered all of the platforms.
I'd say so.
So yeah, chill with us. Let us know what you want to talk about, and catch us on IG, which is PEP, PEP, and Fufu.
All right, guys.
F-U.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Later.